Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Exile Cigars YouTube channel. We got our first guest. I had to blackmail him into coming, but he came. My name is Alex Martinez. I am the founder of Exile Cigars. And if you've heard me say it before, my cigars are made at the La Union factory in Tamboril, Dominican Republic, by this man right here, Cesar Reyes, who I brought on to kind of ask him some questions and get you guys familiar with the man behind Exile Cigars who makes the cigars. I like to say that in this industry, a lot of people throw the term master blender around like it's, a regular thing. Like there's a bunch of them out there. They're all master blenders. And I am definitely not a master blender. I am a master smoker. And Cesar has the master blender working at his factory. And sometimes you have to leave the cooking to the cooks. Yep. And then you taste the food and you say, wow, this is really good. And that's the way it works at Exile Cigars. I give him an idea of what I'm looking for. We get a bunch of different blends.
I think we've been able to accomplish that.
Yeah, we've
many of the years.
We've hit the nail on the head several times.
I think so.
This being the most recent, I should say, the Alaska.
Especially this size, like all that we spoke about that you wanted on this cigar. I think I think this is the size that really can speak to what you wanted it from the beginning.
We'll get to differences because it's really crazy, You'll hear about the differences in the sizes and the way they smoke and the way they taste. But first, let's talk a little bit about you, shall we? So you were a brand owner, Caminos Cigars. You started
still the brand owner.
You're right.
Still running.
Current brand owner.
Yes.
Caminos Cigars. Mm-hmm. You started that in 2014 was it?
I started traveling to the Dominican Republic 2014. Just, I was very into what the cigar culture was, still is. And first I was an aficionado, but had some knowledge of what the industry was. So I started traveling more often to the Dominican Republic. And my dream was to open up a cigar shop in New York. But things happened in my personal life. I got divorced. I got on a plane and I said, you know what, let me go to the Dominican Republic. I need a little break. And I met a few people and they started taking me to all these factories. So I started to meet all these big names in the industry. And I mean, I just fell in love with the process. And I said, you know what, I think I might want to do something like this. And they keep inviting me back to the Dominican Republic. And I said, you know what? I'm going to do this first. So after doing all these homeworks and visiting a few factories and talking to a lot of people, I decided to have my cigars, my brand, made by Francisco Chico Rivas, which is a big name in the industry around the world.
Chico's very well known.
Yes.
Yeah. And makes a lot of cigars for a lot of big names.
A lot of big names. So I came out with Caminos, and I still have my core line since 2016. That's when it first came out, and and still do to this day. I haven't had a chance to bring out the Caminos made at my factory because you being one of the reasons, because you haven't let me breathe in a way, which is a good thing.
I'm giving you this year to breathe.
Yes, it is a good thing because we have made a lot of cigars for you. So, yes, but started with Chico, 2014, going back and forth. What are we doing? The blends, this, that, what is it that I want to make? And yes, till this day, I have the brand. And, like around 4 years ago.
So I was going to ask you, so you have your brand, you're selling your cigars out there, and we all know it's a grind. It's people think, it's easy. No, there's a lot of competition. There's always a shortage of shelf space at the tobacconists, and it's not an easy road to travel. So then, somewhere along the line, you came up with this great idea. I'm going to start my own factory. What the? From because I'm Exile Cigars, and and listen, I get it. All the big names.
Yes.
If you look at the big names in this industry, they are vertically integrated. They have their own. Some of them have their own farms.
Yes.
Most of them, if not all of them, have their own factory, their own box factories. They kind of, try to be in charge of everything, to control it.
Yes.
So I get it. But what made you say, you know what, I want to open up a factory?
Well, if you look at it, everything in life and everything in everything in life, like I said, everything is going higher on prices. Not only that, but I've noticed that quality also start changing when some of these companies, especially cigar companies, are over manufacturing cigars. So I say, you know what? Not that Chico wasn't doing the job that he was supposed to do for my brand. I will always be grateful to the guy because the guy, used to make great cigars for me. And
Still
my
deal with
company.
him to this day?
Yes, to this day, we're still very close friends. But what made me decide was like, all these times that I've traveled and all the things that I learned from Chico, not only Chico, I can throw 15, 20 names out there, and it's things that I learned, even little things that I absorbed from conversations with these main names in the industry. Took a lot of notes, and I just decided, you know what, it's probably time for me to do my own thing because I've learned so much from the greatest, at least in the Dominican Republic. Of course, I know a lot of people in Nicaragua also, and Honduras, but like mis raíces,
Your roots.
yes, like we say in the Dominican Republic, comes from my country, from the main guys in my country. So I said, you know what? Let me see if I can get a few good rollers, few people that I can trust, few people that can create with myself a very good team. And not looking to make a lot of cigars a day because I've always said that I want quality more than, a big number of cigars a day. So let's go for the quality instead of the quantity. So that's what I decided. I say, you know what? Let me start little. Let me see what can happen. And I remember when I make the first few samples that I make for a good friend of mine. I remember we didn't have no malts. We didn't have no tobacco. We only had 2 little tables. A few guys that really wanted to start working, and I remember making these samples for that good friend, and some of those samples get into your hands. I don't know how. I remember you calling me and asking me since when you have a factory, and it all started from there, and I never forget that day. It was a very special day. But yes, that's how everything became. All right, Cesar, it's time for you to grow. Why stay just having a brand when you can have your own little factory? By the way, it's not that little small factory anymore because now, like a year or so ago, we moved to a bigger factory because, like, again, I guess people are liking what we're doing, at our humble factory, and just working to make better cigars and that people can be able to enjoy out there.
So you started the factory in
2022.
22.
Yes.
Right, because that's when we started doing La Dalia.
La Dalia, yeah.
We started the blending process and came out with La Dalia.
With your first cigar, with your first line.
Yeah.
Which is, all the good things that we like. Great cigar with a beautiful San Andres wrapper. We did use tobaccos from other countries, Indonesia. That's what we like. That's why I see ourselves being different because I like playing with different tobaccos at the factory. I just don't like doing the typical thing that everybody else is doing. I mean, I'm not a young guy, but I consider myself one of the
You're one of the new kids on the block.
exactly because there are a few of us, and I could mention them because we are very close friends. Like Weber Ventura, he's making great cigars for a lot of big companies in the United States. His brother Henderson, making a lot of good cigars for for his brand and other people in Europe. Ostos, La Isla. I mean, this guy is. Every time I go to the Dominican Republic and I go visit, I go visit to say hello, but I go visit to. I'm like, you know what I like because this guy is making great cigars.
And that's one of the things that I tell people a lot of times is any cigar maker that tells you they only smoke their cigars,
that's a lie.
It's not true.
I'm telling you, it is a lie.
You have to smoke other people's cigars.
You have to see
what's coming out, what's new.
Exactly.
And not that you're going to copy their cigar, but it might give you an idea like, oh, you know what? I haven't used this type of leaf in any of my cigars. Maybe I can come up with a blend with that. But you have to know what the competition, if you want to call it that, is up to in order to stay ahead and keep afloat.
As I see it as a friendly competition. And we all know that.
Sure.
This little group that I just mentioned, we are in a competition. But guess what? Every time I go to Weaver's factory or any of their factories, guess what? I'm smoking their stuff. And they ask me, well, bring me some of your stuff. And when they come to the factory, they do the same thing.
I used to do the same thing when I was the manager at Main Street, and I had the brand.
So
when I had an actual owner that came in for an event or whatever, I would say, hey, I'd be honored if you would try my cigar, and they would critique it and tell me, and it keeps you current. It keeps you up to date on what's happening and what's going on in the cigar industry. You have to smoke other people's cigars.
You have to, and again, it's been a blessing since we opened the factory. We still have.
So we kind of started out on different roads at the same time. You started new factory.
In a way,
I started
yes,
new brand.
Yes, I remember you giving me that call and telling me, "Oye, chico, look, it's
in my
funny."
best Cuban accent.
Yes.
Oye, chico, yeah.
I remember you. First question you asked, "When are you coming back?" And I say, "Oh, I'm coming back tomorrow." And I remember me telling you, "Okay, my first stop is when I land, I'll go see you at your office." And I remember landing and taking my car and going to your shop.
Yeah.
Going to Main Street, and we sat there. I remember us smoking the cigars again, and from there it was a wrap, like they say here in the United States. And I didn't know you wanted to start a brand. I was like, okay, but I remember as if it was yesterday with the number of cigars that we started, like your brand, and 99% of the cigar factories don't start with that kind of number. But I was like, of course I'm gonna start with that number because it's not only my first job that I'm gonna be doing for a new brand, but he's also a friend. But I remember all your whole order getting to the United States.
2,000 cigars. 3 different sizes.
6,000 cigars.
6,000 total.
And it wasn't even a month. And you gave me that call and you told me, Cesar, we have a lot of problems. And I got scared. I'm like, what happened? I'm running out of cigars. And I remember laughing with you and me telling you, don't worry about it. We'll always make extras. And from that day on, we haven't stopped. It's one of my favorite cigars that I have made for you because I just like having people like asking me and telling me, really, this is a cigar made in the Dominican Republic? And when I tell them, yes.
Listen, I've had people that have been in this industry 10 years, have their own cigars that they make, their own, and I won't tell them. And they'll say, Nicaraguan.
It's made in Nicaragua. That's what a lot of people think.
And this is I give you guys full credit because you knew my palate.
Yes.
You knew what I was looking for.
We've been smoking together.
Listen,
for a
I'll be
long
honest
time.
with you. If you guys, if somebody would have said to me, you know, you're going to make a cigar and your first cigar you're going to make is going to be from the Dominican Republic, I would have laughed at you. Because I was smoking, you know, Nicaraguans and super full bodied and
Most of the time,
Most
yes.
of the time. And if there's one thing that this journey into my own brand has done for me, it really has expanded my palate to a point where I can appreciate the lightest cigars and still smoke and enjoy the fullest body cigars.
That's
The black labels, the
way it has
Roma
to be,
Craft and the Neanderthals, you know, that full body, you know, pepper and strength and earth. But I can also enjoy, you know, a milder Connecticut.
These are all great brands that you just mentioned.
What I found is it gave me more appreciation for those nuanced cigars. Cigars that there's not one thing in there that pops out like, oh my God, there's so much black pepper, or oh my God, so much leather, or so much woodiness, but it's got all those different components, but it just ebbs and flows, and it keeps you wondering what's the next flavor that's going to pop up. That's one of the reasons why I fell in love with this cigar. It's medium body,
It was something.
and there's no single dominant flavor.
No.
There's a bunch of flavors in there and notes that you get. Nothing is the dominant flavor. I like to call it a cacophony of flavors. It's like an orchestra.
Yes.
Right? You don't, you know, sometimes they'll have a solo, you know, with a violin or whatever, but most of the time you hear the beautiful music, and it's because of the combination of all the instruments playing at the same time. And that's what I think
I
this
used
cigar
to-
brings.
I used to do that with Chico Rivas. Again, like we said before, I'm still very good friends with Chico. Why? Because that was one of the first things he teach me. Have a conversation with your cigar. And it's like what you just said. You gotta be able to feel all these things that you just mentioned. And he teach me that you can have 100 different cigars in that aging room. And let's say those 100, let's say you have 1,000 cigars, 100 different blends. Make sure that if you're making those cigars for different customers, each of those cigars that are owned by different companies and owners, make sure they taste different. And that's one of the things that I took from him with me to my factory. Like, especially your cigars, not because you were my first customer, it's just because of you gotta have respect for each of the people that is putting their money, their hard-earned money into your pocket, and I have so much respect for that. So it's not an easy thing to do. I gotta tell you the truth. If you're doing things
The right way.
the right way, and if you're taking it seriously, and that's why I'm so proud of the 3 main cigars that we have made for you. Your 3 core lines, because you have 3 core lines. So this is the baby, Alaska.
Just came out
and
last year.
yes, and I'm pretty sure people are going to appreciate that cigar because we do all the time. We smoke it. I think this one was the one that gave me the most trouble because, well, no, not really.
Well, let me just. So this is
5-year
5-year age.
It was but it was the one before this and this one. They both gave me a hard time because I just wanted to be perfect on both of them. I just wanted to hit that note that when you smoke it, it will, transform you and to take you into like another place. So
we'll go in order. So the first cigar that we came out with,
La Dalia.
La Dalia, Mexican San Andres, dark wrapper, oily.
we began with 3 sizes, but ended up with 4.
With 4 with the
6
with
by
the
60,
limitada.
La Gorda, Toro, Robusto and Delimitada, a Corona, a 46 by 5.5.
5.5, yep. And what I found was, as I'm doing events at different shops, people would come in and they'd look at the table, and right away, if they weren't a full-body smoker, they'd look at it, they'd see the dark wrapper, and they'd say, oh no, that's too strong for me, it's too dark. And like I've said a million times, I've never been a Connecticut guy. I would never ever walk into a humidor, no matter what store I went, and pick out a Connecticut and say, I'm going to smoke a Connecticut.
I was never a Connecticut guy either.
Right.
But there are ways.
So out comes Versalles. And it's funny because we narrowed it down to 2 blends.
Out of five that I brought you from the factory.
Right.
Yes.
And again, knowing my palate, he played a trick on me.
I did.
So he gives me 2 different cigars, and they're labeled 1 and 2. And he has a little piece of paper that he's holding on to. And I'm like, what's that? He says, don't worry about it. Just tell me,
It was you and AJ, his son.
Yep. And we're smoking it. And we're looking at each other, and, you can't just take a few puffs and say, this is it, So we're sitting back, we're talking, and we're smoking, and me and AJ kept looking at each other. And after the first half inch, we were leaning one way. And as we kept smoking, we kept going, oh, you know what, maybe not. And the number 2 cigar was the one that won out.
Yep.
And that's when you turned that little piece of paper over and you said, here, we said at the factory that this was going to be the number 2.
Yep.
And it was, in fact, again, because you know your customer,
Yes.
the palate
Yes.
of the customer that's looking at the cigar, and you know.
But that's one of the things that I really,
and that's not a mild Connecticut.
No.
It's medium body.
To tell you the truth, years ago, the brand that came out with a Connecticut, they were making Connecticut's that were supposed to be what Connecticut's were supposed to be back in the days, like a mild cigar, very grassy, it was a cigar that had no meaning.
Exactly what I hated about it. It was too mild, didn't have enough flavors, had that little bitterness, and that hay and grass to it, and it just turned me off. I didn't, that's not my flavor profile. I don't like it. That's why I always say I would never pick out a Connecticut.
So I will say,
but I knew I needed a Connecticut in the line because of the reaction I would get from the public when they'd come in and look at the dark cigar. Oh no, that's too strong, which it isn't. It's medium full, but it's not. It's not a full-bodied cigar by any means. So let me ask you a question.
Even though I know this is your podcast, which was that Connecticut that changed your mind?
Your Connecticut.
And
Caminos came out with a Connecticut.
And I was afraid to come out with that cigar because all I had was my core line of 3 sizes in a San Andres wrapper. And every year I will come out with, remember the TMM, Tu Maldita Madre? I used to make a limited amount of those cigars and come out and did great with it. But
wait, so wait, we got to talk about TMM.
Yes, yeah,
right.
Yes.
So if you know anything about the cigar industry, you know how it was under attack by the FDA.
By the FDA, 2016.
And pretty much, I took the leap, not knowing if in fact I was even going to be able to produce cigars.
Exactly.
If this law actually
they put us on a bad spot.
Absolutely, just because of craziness of it. And you kind of did the same thing. You said, "Oh yeah," and you come up with this cigar, TMM. And nobody knew what it meant. But
I remember then sending me a letter.
Yeah.
What do you mean by those words? And I said, you know what? I better take it easy because if they want to get me in trouble.
So TMM stood for Tu Maldita
Madre. Tu
Madre.
Maldita Madre, which is how can I say it? It's like a slang. I don't even know.
It's not so nice to call somebody's mother. You know,
but us in the Dominican Republic, if I know you and I mean, you won't take it that seriously. But
Right.
if you tell that word to somebody that you don't like, there's gonna be a fight. It's gonna be ugly.
Yeah.
Because
Right. And
that
it's-
is the most important thing in any Dominican's
Right.
life. But yeah, they dedicated that line of my cigars to the FDA because, I mean, it was a lot of us trying to come out with a brand back in those days. I mean, remember
Thank
2015?
God, we you know,
Yeah.
with the PCA, the CRA,
Yes,
and,
yes.
and all the other groups that fought it and actually won, because if it wouldn't be for that,
Remember
there would
how
be no
many-
new cigars.
Remember how many boutique brands were coming out that year, 2014, 15, and 16?
Yeah,
A lot of
and
them
how many
are
just
still. How many are still
right? And but there
selling
was a
cig-
bunch that just sold.
disappeared? Yeah.
When they saw that this was happening, they sold their brand
Yes.
off, or they just stopped making them. They weren't.
They just not in
they were
business
afraid,
anymore.
and you can't blame them. I mean,
You can't.
it's a hell of an
You can't.
investment
Yes.
to take a chance like that. So the Versalles is more of a light medium.
For a Connecticut.
For
yes.
a Connecticut, it's not. If somebody says I want a super Connecticut,
It's not your typical
It's
Connecticut.
not a Macanudo.
No.
It's not an Ashton, Connecticut. It's not a Fuente, Connecticut. It's got some balls to it. It's got a little bit of white pepper. It's got a little bit of spiciness. But it's creamy
beautifully
and
balanced,
yes,
which
creamy
is,
and
which is the
citrusy.
thing.
and-
Yes, it's the thing that I like the most about Versalles. That cigar keeps you wanting to come back to the same cigar. I mean, it's rarely when I smoke the same cigar back to back. And the other day, your son gave me a few Robustos and a few Toros. I was like, hey, I mean, sorry to bother you, but I make your cigars, but I don't even have any. Can you bring me some to the shop? So he comes to the shop, and when he came, you were down in Florida, so he came to bring me some cigars. And I started with the Robusto, and I say, wow. And they have gotten so much better with all this time. And then I say, you know what? Just let me see how the Toro is doing. And I revisit that cigar, and that cigar, like, and I don't like talking or describing a cigar in the American way, because sometimes it could be a little, I mean, a lot of people might get confused, but I feel like plums, like ciruelas. Mm-hmm. And I mean, that creaminess on that cigar, but then the white pepper also, very woody, citrusy. It reminds me of my favorite Cuban 20 years ago. I mean, I can't smoke the same Cuban nowadays because it's not going to be
right.
the same. But
and so it's funny you said that, because when I had some samples of that cigar, Francisco, who took over my job as manager at Main Street, I had given him one. And he called me up. He was driving somewhere. He was smoking a cigar. And he says, Alex, he says, I'm smoking this Cuban cigar, and it's just amazing, and this and that. And I'm like, what? Why are you calling me, telling me about a Cuban cigar you're smoking? He says, yeah, the name is Versalles. And he said, bro, this reminds me so much of the Cubans I used to smoke when I was in Spain, back when Cubans were real
wow.
Cubans. And I was like, wow. I said,
thank you.
yes, it made me feel good. And it is, and it's aging beautifully.
Yes, it is.
It's delicious, and it's one of those cigars that now I can smoke that all day, every day. I think it'll stand up after dinner, but it's light enough that at breakfast you can have it with a cafecito,
yes,
and it
yes.
pairs great with the cafecito.
But I tell you, I love closing out my nights with that cigar, because it leaves your palate clean, completely clean. Mm-hmm. And that cigar goes well with everything. Coffee, a beer, bourbon.
A lighter bourbon.
Oh my God, it's just paired so well with bourbon. Rum,
Yeah,
I
the
mean, it goes
sweetness
so
and the pepperiness.
exactly.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just, I mean, it pairs well with everything, and not because I make the cigar for you at our factory, but I put that cigar against any, and you know I still smoke everything in the business till this day, but I put up that cigar, I put it up against any Connecticut. Well, I don't want to be so, but I'll say this better. It's even better. Top three Connecticut's in the market, Versailles is one of them because it's that good. And just,
I'd say thank you, but you made it, so I can't even.
yes, but just so I can contradict myself, I walk into humidors, different stores, and I pick other Connecticuts. And with all due respect, I do like him, and I think like the new generation is doing great work with that wrapper. But something that makes sense from beginning to end and gives you that experience of that wrapper is
The Queen's Revenge, Aventura.
Yes, Aventura. And
From
it's
Henderson.
It's one of my
Fantastic.
favorite.
Yeah,
It's one of my
fantastic.
favorite. You
Very
know
good.
who making a very good Connecticut, and I smoked it the other day for the first time, and it's one of my favorite brands to smoke. But that Robusto Connecticut from my father's, the Jamie Garcia, excellent.
The Jamie Garcia.
Because it's not a boring Connecticut, and it was
That's,
perfectly made.
that's how I describe Versailles. It's not a boring Connecticut. It's
Yours
not just
has-
one tone.
Yours
and
has a little more creaminess.
complexity. I think it's a little bit more complex.
It's more balanced also. But that Pepin Garcia, excellent cigar. Very, very good cigar. The one that Henderson made, I mean, that's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
But he says the same thing about, because when we get together, he tells me, bro, when is that Connecticut gonna come out? And we always share, and
Yeah.
you know.
So we got the Connecticut in, and then we said, "Oh, it's I got this special blend." He catches me when I've had a few bourbons. That's why I don't drink anymore. So he says, "I want you to try this cigar," and it was one of those things where you smoke and you're like,
What is
"Wow,
this?
what is this?" Listen, all credit to you and Winston
Yes.
at your factory putting these blends together, because it just blew my mind. And I said, we don't have a Habano. This could be our third core line. And so we talked about it, and we tried a couple more of the cigars, and I was like, yeah, I want this cigar. That was one of the ones where I can truly say that, you know, I didn't pick out from 5 different ones.
No.
You blended it. You probably blended it thinking of me, just saying. And you know, like putting a worm on the hook and putting it right in front of a hungry fish.
Well, when we did it, we thought of a few people and ourselves. Because remember how that cigar got here, went to the United States. And remember, there was only a few thousand left. Because remember, the first time you smoke it, it was on a different vitola, on a different size. From tobacco, from cuts that were left after making another cigar. I don't know if you remember. So, you know, so we had tobacco left to make a cigar that makes sense, but we cannot make the regular cigar or the regular size on that blend because those were cuts left from another blend that we were making. So we were only able to use those different cuts of tobacco on a smaller blend. And I remember
Smaller ring gauge.
Yes. I remember me taking out that little cigar, that 46 by 6. And you were one of the first one that smoked it. No, you were the first person that smoked that cigar here in the United States. And I just remember that day, and then you pass it to your son, and all of us looking at each other. And I remember you telling me, now, can we make this blend on a Toro Robusto in this side? And I say, of course. And that's how we were able to come out with Alaska. But
And you don't know how many people say the same shit. Alaska? What the hell's Alaska? And I tell him, listen, if my dad was still alive, I would ask him, what drugs were you doing the day you thought about naming your third shoe store Alaska? Because, you know, that sounds like some hippie shit that happened in the 60s in the United States, where they, you know, some people's names, you know, were Citronella. I'm gonna call my daughter Citronella. You know, it's craziness.
Yes.
But like I said, I didn't write the history. I'm just telling it. So that was the name of the shoe store.
Yes,
that's the name of the cigar.
Yes.
End of story. And it was something very special. I think it's a very, very special cigar. I think it's even more Cubanesque than Versalles.
I think it is because of the wrappers, second because of the binder we use differently. It was the first time that we use that binder in the factory. But
and the binder, so I had somebody tell me, I don't think I've ever had a cigar with an Ecuadorian wrapper and an Ecuadorian binder. It piqued my interest. And you're right. I don't. And again, you know, the part of the focus of this YouTube channel is educating, and Ecuador makes the best wrappers in the world, hands down. And it's been attributed to the constant cloud cover. They don't need to put cheesecloth. They don't need to put cheesecloth to grow the wrapper, because the clouds do it naturally.
The past 5-6 years, I think I have to agree with you. I enjoy.
If you look at all the top rated cigars, they have Ecuadorian wrappers.
Yes, any wrapper coming out of Ecuador. Also, any binder. And then,
the only difference between, tell me if I'm wrong, the only difference between a wrapper and a binder is how pretty it is.
Y el grosor también.
And how thick.
How thick, because there's so many thick binders out of.
Because literally you could
Ecuador.
take two leaves from the same plant, and this one will be a wrapper leaf, this one will be a binder leaf.
There are times that us at the factory, we know we just bought a box of binder and we're looking at it, and when we open it, we take some, we know it's binder, but sometimes for us, we're making 100 cigars for us to smoke, and we're using binder for us because it tastes great. But yes, I do agree with you 100%. Right now, the best tasting binder and wrapper to use is from Ecuador. And
one of the things that's always blown my mind about Ecuadorian wrappers too is, so you have Connecticut shade wrapper.
Yes.
That's grown in Connecticut, and you have Connecticut shade wrapper that's grown in Ecuador. And I can tell the difference night and day, because that Connecticut shade wrapper grown in Connecticut has that grassiness and that little bit of bitterness. And the Ecuador Connecticut does not. It somehow the soil,
it's sweet all the time. It's creamy.
Yeah, there's no grassiness and there's no bitterness.
Never. So that's why we pay a little bit extra, because yes, we are in the Dominican Republic, and it's not as easy for us than the people that are making cigars in Nicaragua. But I mean,
so that's another thing that you know, when you're dealing with a small factory and a boutique brand, you know, a lot of times you'll see a boutique brand and you'll be like, wow, you know, I don't even know that name. You know, why is it so expensive? And one of the major contributing factors is the cost of tobacco.
Exactly.
Because you're not buying, you know, 100 tons at a time.
Because you're small. That's
right.
That's one of the reasons, the main reasons why I decided, if I can cut the middleman and I can make my own cigars, why not? I have knowledge. I've learned so much from all these people. So that was one of the main reasons why I decided I'm gonna have my own factory. So, but yes, Ecuador to me have so much great tobacco that a lot of people still to this day don't know or understand. And you are able to taste something. It's gonna stay, you know, that's a timeout. It's something that we're gonna be having out there in the future that the industry is not ready for, but this is a little exclusive
Oh yeah.
You smoke a little bit.
We're still not talking about that, right?
No. Not yet. The people's not ready for that. Let's keep it
Yeah.
covered between you and I.
Okay.
And yes,
That's where the name Puro came from,
yes,
right?
Ecuador has so much to offer, and
I hope you caught that. Anyway, we won't talk about that anymore.
no. But yeah, like a lot of great things are coming. Your brand, our factory.
You're gonna be coming out with Caminos again.
But this time, instead of having that only core line that I had, that it was like the first time it came out, believe it or not, it was with Negrito wrapper, that a lot of people are not too familiarized with, because it's like a hybrid of San Andres.
Okay.
Negrito wrapper, and it was grown by still grown by Leo Reyes in the Dominican Republic. To me, there's people say that there's other people that
Tu tío.
Me, sí, quisiera yo. Yeah, I wish. I think he is the biggest grower of tobacco in all Latin America. Other people say, they contradict, but to me, it's Leo Reyes. He's one of the guys with the most knowledge of tobacco.
And these are the guys that are behind the scenes that
all the time
nobody
that
really
nobody
knows
about. I go to buy tobacco there.
You've smoked cigars with his tobacco in it.
Exactly. I go there for 3-4 hours to go buy some of the tobacco we use at the factory, and I end up there being the whole day.
So, and I'll just to give examples of what we're talking about. One of the big ones, everybody knows it now, Plasencia. Plasencia was making cigars for other people, and chances are that they smoked a cigar made by Plasencia.
And nobody knew who Plasencia was.
Nobody knew who Plasencia was.
But yes, they've been growing tobacco for how long?
Right. And then the other one is Aganorsa. Aganorsa is a huge tobacco. And they grow and sell tobacco. That's their main. But they also had Casa Fernandez, which they now rebranded to Aganorsa Leaf.
Yes.
Because, again, it was something that nobody knew Aganorsa.
Nobody.
But people were smoking their cigars with their tobacco in it for years. But nobody knew that. These are the little things in the cigar industry that make it so interesting. You have, people that you don't even know that are responsible for stuff.
So let me ask you something about your podcast. Are you going to be interacting with any of the people that subscribe, or even if they are not subscribed to your podcast, are you going to be answering questions if they ask? I mean, I think it's a beautiful way of giving knowledge to the new smoker and the old smokers out there, because again, just to your audience, you're not only a guy that likes talking about your brand of what you're doing, because this is not the only business you have in the cigar industry. I know you have other stuff that me as a cigar smoker would like to know, and like I would love, like if I ask a question to a person like you, like am I gonna be getting an answer from Alex Martinez?
You can always contact me through the YouTube channel, and the Exile Cigars website is exilcigars.com, and ask any questions you might have, and then when we do another episode, we'll put it on there. Eventually, when our subscriber base grows, then we'll do a live show where we'll have the ability to do the chat, and people can ask questions and let us know that they're watching and what have you, and be able to interact. That's in the future as our channel grows and more people subscribe to it, and I don't want to do a live and have 3 people.
So I'll tell you something. This is what we're gonna do. I'm going to do. When you get to your 5,000 subscriber, that number 5,000, I will fly to the Dominican Republic. They will stay with me, and I will give them a tour of not only my factory, our factory, but a few other of my friends' factories.
Okay. So there you go. That's a yeah.
It's the way to start. It's the way
to
start.
We'll put all the names in, and then we'll randomize it, and one person will win.
There you go.
There you go. And Exile Cigars will pay for your travel.
And
And he's
Fábrica
gonna,
de Tabacos La Unión.
yeah,
Of course.
yeah. So that's cool. 5,000.
so.
That might be, depends on
That,
how it could be 10 years from now.
No, I don't think it's going to take that long. I think because we, especially you, with the knowledge you have with tobacco and all the names that that are your friends and my friends, and all the knowledge. I know you like giving knowledge to other people. Like, we have the same passion for tobacco. So, I mean, it's a beautiful thing. I mean, being able to smoke a cigar, to me, this is peace. Smoking a cigar. Listen, to me,
It's a lifestyle, not a habit.
I see it as my religion. There is not a cigar I light up in any time of the day that I'm not concentrating on my cigar, and more than anything. Like, I can be surrounded by 20 people and I'm still putting more attention to my cigar than it could be the fifth of the day. It doesn't matter. I'm putting attention to my cigar because I respect this. You don't understand, and a lot of people don't understand what this is.
Right.
You know how many hands touches this cigar for us to be able to enjoy it here. I mean, take it out of the box, pick it up at a store. Just to have this product, this final product. I mean, so many things have to happen for us to have the finished product.
I used to tell people all the time, I said, if you really and truly love cigars, you owe it to yourself to go visit factories. You're taking a trip anyway. You're going to the
Yes,
Dominican Republic. Go spend 2 days in the Tamboril area.
Even a day.
Yeah,
Even a day.
and go look at the factories. I mean, it really changed my whole outlook. I think the first
whole
trip I took with
perspective,
Colin
yes.
Ganley, who at the time was associated with Cigar Journal magazine, and he had his cigar tourism company. And we went down to Nicaragua. It was the first and only trip where it was actually Nicaragua and Honduras. And we got to see some really big factories. When we went to Honduras, we went to Hatsa, General Cigar. And, it was truly a game changer for me to see the box factory and what goes into making a box. I didn't want to throw away boxes. Yeah, I didn't want to throw away boxes anymore. It's terrible, right? And so I got all these boxes piled up and stuff, and because I felt bad throwing them out after seeing the work.
You felt that way with a cigar box. I can't imagine with a cigar.
It's just incredible the amount of labor that goes into making this final product. It's not just you take the leaf. That's going to be a whole nother podcast,
yes,
a whole nother
definitely.
episode
Definitely.
where we'll talk about the actual process and maybe different stuff. But so that's another thing that I wanted to announce. We've done a collaboration with Tobacconist University, Jorge Armenteros, who runs Tobacconist University, where we're going to be offering certifications to the people that work at the cigar shops, the tobacconists that work at cigar shops that carry our brands. We're going to offer this training and certification from a reputable.
Nice.
It's not Alex Martinez saying,
nice.
You're now a tobacconist. It's someone that's pretty much backed by the industry, provides a fantastic curriculum. It's all online, and you take a test and you get a certification out of it. And they have certifications for consumers. They have certifications in varying levels for people that are in the industry. And so we're doing a collaboration with them. We're going to start offering that probably beginning of next month to the different shops that carry it's coming right around the corner, that are carrying our cigars. And it gives them the opportunity to put a little credence behind when somebody at a cigar shop recommends a cigar. They're not just recommending it,
just for the heck of it.
Just for the heck of it. They've gone through some training. They have experience. Obviously, they work there. They smoke, hopefully. I won't go into shops where somebody's selling cigars that doesn't smoke them, but anyway, that does happen, and it gives you a little bit more. I'm not going to say respect, but it's nice to say, hey, our shop has certified tobacconists that work here.
Yes, definitely.
And so that's something we're going to offer to our shops, our retail partners that carry our brand, and even some of our subscribers.
It's a word that I like using. Credibility.
Credibility.
Did I say it right? Because
Yes.
my English sometimes is not that
Your
good.
English is not too good looking?
Credibility.
Credibility. That's the word I was searching for. That word.
I love going into a cigar shop and just asking a guy, and I say, my man, because at least, let's say they don't know everything about a cigar, but they have smoked it, and at least they can tell you the notes and the experience that you might be having with that cigar.
Yes.
You know, and that's something beautiful.
That was my big thing when I managed Main Street.
Yes,
I
yes.
told the employees, listen, you get to smoke free. You're not smoking your favorite cigar every day.
No, exactly.
You need to try everything in this humidor
Everything.
so that you can, when somebody asks you, you know, what do you think about this cigar? Chances are you've smoked it and you're going to be able to tell them, oh, I think it's too strong for you. I think it's too light for you. Oh, you'll like it. You know, as you get to know your customers.
It's not my kind of cigar, but me
you,
knowing your palate,
yes.
I think you're gonna love this cigar.
Yeah, because so this is another topic that I wanted to kind of delve into today. To me, the most important thing in a cigar. There's a lot of things that come together to make a cigar, right? But the most important thing to me, in my humble opinion, is first and foremost, construction.
I agree with you 100%.
Because I don't care how good or how expensive a cigar is,
I agree with you 100%.
if it's plugged, if it's got voids in it that make it burn crooked, if the tobacco wasn't aged properly and it or it wasn't bunched right, there's so many factors that affect the smoking experience.
I think that's another reason why you are working with us.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And yes, we are small because you have probably 50 other factories that could have done the work for you because you know everybody in the industry. I mean, you see them twice or three times a year.
Too much.
I mean, you know, like
yeah, it's and construction
is one of the most important
to me.
things.
The most, and here's some people say, well, no, it's the flavor. I said, well, but wait a minute. Flavor is very subjective. Some people like spicy food, other people don't.
Yep.
Some people like fish, some people like steak. You know, there's some people that like steak, fish, chicken, they like it all.
Yep.
You know, but that is now it's subjective. Oh, the cigar burns great, it draws good, it looks good. You know, now you can go and say, well, you know what? It was a good cigar, not my wheelhouse, not my flavor profile.
That's why in our factory, when we bunch in the cigar, before we put in the mold, we have one of these little scales. We're making a Robusto. The Robusto is supposed to weigh between 12.5 to 13.5 grams. No more than that. If you put it in that mold, weighing more than that, you're gonna have a problem. So the cigar might be too tight for you to smoke, or it might be plugged. After we bunch it and give the time on the under the pressure, and then we wrap the cigar, when our roller puts finish the product, and we end making the cigars in the evening, he double checks every single stick that we make on that day. So quality control, most important thing in any factory. If you don't have quality control, you're gonna have a problem. When have you opened a box of your own cigars and you said, this is plugged. This is not smoking right.
No.
When have you have any of your cigars?
We don't have those Cuban problems.
How do we age our
I hope you caught that
cigars?
too.
How do we put our cigars in the aging room?
Which is
we use a
different
different method.
Right.
There's only, I want to say, 2 factories using that method in the Dominican Republic, which is Chico, my teacher, and ourselves. Like in the binder, in the filler, most importantly, is tobacco, and a lot of tobacco. And tobacco has a lot of nutrients, have a lot of oils. If you put them like this, and then you put another bundle on top of the one on the bottom already, where the oil is going to go if you aging them like this? That makes no sense to us. I mean, anybody else can do the work the way they want to do it. When we age our cigars, we stand them like this. So all the oils can come down, in same parts all around the binder, and all those oils get attached to the binder, even the wrapper, and that's how we get the burns we get on our cigars. Mm-hmm. I think that's the proper way to do it.
Yeah, and that's something that I never heard of until you mentioned it. And listen, it works.
It's worked for us all these years. Yes.
Yeah. So it's a different method. Again, you can visit 20 factories, and each one of those 20 factories has their little secret sauce. Mm-hmm. Whether it be something with the fermentation, the temperatures. You gave 5 factories a bunch of the same tobacco and let them process it. It's going to be 5 different
ways.
Five different ways, and the tobacco is going to taste different all 5 different ways.
Yep. Yes. That's the way it is.
It's again, you think that's nutty,
it
is
very,
nutty,
yes.
But it's the truth.
It is a very complicated industry, believe it or not. I mean,
very almost scientific.
Yes, you got to have a good team working with you for your work to be successful. That's the way I see it. That's the only way. That's the only way it's gonna work. You got to keep your people around you that that do what they know what to do.
And so as we start closing out this episode, I've been asked several times. I've been asked by people, hey, I can make a cigar for you if you want. And I've been asked, oh, you ever going to go to a different factory? And the answer is, I am very happy where I am. One of the biggest things
Thank you.
is the trust between us.
Yes.
I've heard of a lot of stories of some unscrupulous people in the cigar industry.
That's the saddest thing about this beautiful industry, because it is a beautiful industry, but there's
like everything else.
There's a lot of bad
shady business,
too. Yes.
Where they give you a cigar and you say you love it and make me 10,000, and you get the cigar and it's not the same because they cut corners so they can make a little bit more money. And I don't have to worry about those things.
Short story, just to. I bought my first batch with Chico, and me not knowing the logistic and trying to save a penny or two, I tell Chico to send me my first 1,000 cigars, my first batch, 50,000 cigars. Till this day, I can't believe I bought so many cigars from Chico. And my first 1,000 cigar gets here, and I'm going crazy because I'm anxious because I want to smoke my Caminos Corto, 54 by 5.5. And I get the box, but my first shipment was on a ship. It was not flown to the United States. So I get my cigars, and I took out one cigar out of the box. And I lit up the cigar, and I'm like, this is not my cigars. This guy screwed me. I call him, and he starts laughing at me. I'm like, I pay you your money already, and you're gonna screw me like this? So he's laughing, and he's like, okay, Cesar, how do you ship your cigars? And I told him, he's like, calm down. What you're gonna do is this. You're gonna stain your cigars one on top of the other, and you're gonna let them dry. They need so many things. I need you to put them in this temperature and do not touch them for at least 3 weeks. I said, okay. I'm counting day by day. And when that 3rd week got there, I took another cigar from the same bundle. I lit it up, and I say, the freaking guy was right. To this day, that's why I respect that guy so much.
Yeah.
Because he
It's like it's the
he
old,
will
the
never
old
do
fresh off the
something like
truck.
that. Yes, yes,
You know, I mean,
that's
there was
why
many
I tell
times
people,
we used to get deliveries, and even though people were wanting a cigar, you know, we would put them in the humidor and say, no, you gotta
you
let
can't touch him. Yeah.
They just got off the truck.
Yep.
You know, whether it's in the summer when it's really hot or in the winter when it's really cold, cigars don't like
Nope.
extreme temperatures.
Nope.
They don't like it, and they'll tell you about it.
I
when you-
learned that
you know?
lesson. I send my cigars on a plane. I send your cigars on a plane from the warehouse to the airport to warehouse when it gets here to the United States, and then you always let them sit for how long? A couple of weeks at least.
Yeah.
So
And
that's
trust
the way
me,
to
I
go.
want nothing more than to put these cigars out on the market and start making some money on them.
Yes.
But the thing that I don't want,
It's people to have
people
to say anything bad or negative about your
exactly,
cigars.
exactly, because the hardest thing for a boutique brand is getting your cigar into somebody's hands and having them try it.
And they have to be ready to smoke, and they have to
And if
taste
they
good.
don't like it, they're never going to try any more of your cigars.
Yes,
You know,
I
and
agree with you.
I got the diehard La Dalia guys, and I'll come out with a new cigar and they'll smoke it and they'll say, "Oh, it's a good cigar," but I still like La
I
Dalia.
still like La Dalia.
You know, people that like the Versalles, no, La Dalia is too strong for me.
You know what? Something I've noticed that the people that likes Alaska a lot, they liking Versalles too a lot. I mean, not that they are similar or anything like that. It's just that two different cigars and some
Different
of the-
flavors,
different
but
flavors,
same level
Some of the notes
of-
are similar.
Right, same strength.
Yes,
They're kind of similar in strength. Different flavor profiles.
because of the wrapper.
You know, they're both medium body, and that's it.
The Alaska is probably a little more,
little-
flavor,
little bit-
more flavor.
Little bit more body than Versailles,
Than Versailles, yes.
but still in that
It's
still in that
still in that
medium.
area.
It's
Yep,
not
yep.
it's not up
It's
where
not
where
overpowering.
La Dalia is.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
But it's been a great journey, and I look forward to many more years. Now tell us again, when is the new Caminos release coming out?
Caminos, I'm just waiting on a few things from the companies that I'm working with for boxes, rings.
Oh, you're like me, a bane of your existence is getting rings
it's-
and boxes,
yes,
right?
it's just like, I'm here we go again, starting all over again. I mean, I want to thank you for having me here and sharing our love and passion that we have for cigars, not only for cigars, but for the industry. There,
Well, when your cigar comes out, we'll definitely have you on to
Thank you.
promote your cigar
Thank
as
you,
well.
thank you.
And
really appreciate.
you know, for anybody who's looking to start their own brand, I highly recommend his factory,
Thank
La
you.
Union.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So if you want to be a millionaire in the cigar industry, start with 2. That way you'll end up with 1 million. It's people think it's so easy. It's not. It's a very, very difficult process. It's an expensive process, but for me, it's a labor of love.
Exactly. Not only that, you're a winner already if your cigar that whoever's making it for you, doesn't have to be me, but if your cigar is legit and it's a good cigar, I mean, that's starting with the right foot and the right note. To me, that's very important.
It's not just taking a cigar off the shelf, slapping your band on it, and saying, "Oh, it's mine."
No, I mean,
Okay, and plenty of people do that as well. But it's and they always talk about the story behind the cigar, and I can't vouch for other companies, but I can tell you that the story behind Exile Cigars is 100% true. Everything in the brand has a meaning to it. The new project that'll be coming out in 2027 is a very special story.
I'm looking for that cigar because every time I'm at the factory, I go down every month and a half because I live here in the United States, but I'm always down there. So every time I walk through those doors, since what, like already 7-8 months, like every time I walk through those doors, it's a problem I'm having because it's not even 2027 yet, and every time I'm talking about and a specific cigar is that cigar that we're making for you for next year, and that cigar is just driving me crazy because.
Well, but I gave you a whole year to work on your
Oh
cigars,
my
though. All
God.
right.
Yes,
You're welcome.
I know.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah. So we're not coming out with anything new this year.
We have enough.
Yeah. Although maybe a limited release later on in the year, maybe.
Yes.
Maybe something, little something. But anyway, that'll be for another day.
Yes.
Thanks, guys, for tuning in. Please like and subscribe to the channel. And I've been told that I should say that a million times.
Yes. You should have said it before.
I should have said it. But you know, hopefully we kept you entertained long enough that you're here. Like and subscribe. That's how the channel grows. That's how it gets put out to other people of similar interests, and it would really be a great help. Plus, when we hit 5,000, one of those 5,000 subscribers is going to win a trip to the DR
with us to Tamboril, the Dominican Republic.
Yeah, and we'll go check out not only our factory, but you're going to take us around to other places.
I'm gonna take him to my guys. I'm gonna set up trips to. Definitely, we gotta go to Palmas. We gotta go visit Hochi Blanco. To me, one of the better stories in the tobacco industry. I wish. Let me see. We have at least 3 or 4 factories that we're gonna go visit. Major cigar companies in the industry nowadays. So you can count on that. We'll take you guys there. So you're not only staying at our factory, we're gonna go around.
And so if you know anybody else who enjoys cigars like you do, tell them to check out the channel, like and subscribe, and who knows, they might get lucky. You know, it's
and ask all the questions you guys have, guys.
Feel free, contact.
It's
there's
all
a
about
contact
learning.
us tab on exilcigars.com.
Can you mention your Instagram here and all that stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. It's Exile Cigars on Facebook, on Instagram.
Same thing here. Camino Cigars on Facebook and Instagram, and also Fábrica La Unión. That's the name of the factory in Instagram. And
and listen,
any questions?
You always give credit where credit is due.
That's the
And
name
he
of
didn't
the
want me to
factory.
do that. And
Well,
I said,
because
no.
I'm very humble.
I said, no. It's got to have your factory on the box because
look, I'm making cigars for people that, again, like we said before, my cigar don't taste like Nicaragua, but the guy tasted the cigars and he's like, okay, I want to make a cigar with you, but I want to keep it on the quiet. Like I don't. And I said, not a problem. Like I really don't have a problem at all. I'm just happy to make a cigar for you, so I don't have a problem with that. But I'm so proud and I'm so happy that you decided to do that for us, just to throw our name out there, because it gives us recognition and people know who we are because of people like you that is throwing our name out there, and people do know where your cigars are being made, and to me, that's a very humble experience to have our logo under your box. It's a blessing.
Absolutely. Give credit where credit is due.
Thank you.
Guys, thanks again. Check out our website, exilcigars.com. We have a retailers page there, and you can find a local retailer, hopefully, that carries our brand. If there isn't one and you're interested in trying it, there's unicornsmokes.com. They're the online retailer that will ship your cigars to you. So you can definitely get them, and there's sampler packs on there, so you don't have to commit to a whole box of one cigar. Try out the whole line and see which one is your favorite.
Yes.
Thanks again. Like and subscribe. We'll see you on the next one. Have a great one, and smoke them if you got them.